It used to be you had to deal with nosy people out in the world, in the workplace, or in social or religious situations. But these days, how do you deal with nosy people online? How's it going, Reinventors? My name is Amelia. This is Reinventing You, the channel where you can be inspired to take your own reinventing journey so that you can live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose. I post twice a week, and I am glad you're here. If you haven't subscribed, please do so today. And if you've already subscribed, don't forget to share this video with someone else. How do you deal with nosy people online or on social media? It's a huge deal right now because we used to say, oh, well, I have to deal with nosy people at work, or I have to deal with nosy people when I go to a religious service or a social event of some kind. But now it seems like all the nosy people are simply online. We see them on social media such as Instagram or Facebook. We get emails and texts from people who are sticking their nose into our business. So what do we do? How do we handle all of these nosy people? Now, the first thing you may say, well, I guess I could just get offline, not go on the internet. Well, there's a couple of problems with that. Number one, you would not be able to watch my videos that I post twice a week here on Reinventing You. Also, you would not be able to say hi on Instagram at Reinventing You. But most of all, you would probably not have the contact that you would have right now during this coronavirus pandemic. A lot of us are really dependent on social media and on being online to connect with the world. So it's not practical to say, oh, we'll just stop being on social media, just stop being online. It's just not going to work. So how do we really deal with nosy people? The number one thing that you have got to remember in dealing with nosy people, whether it is online or in person, is that you are in control. That is, you are the one who decides what you watch, how long you watch, who you react to, and how you respond. That is something you have got to keep in mind. And sure, people are going to say things that make us angry or upset us or maybe even make us cry. We're going to be hurt. All of those things are going to happen. But since we're in control, we get to decide what we respond to. We get to decide how we respond. We get to decide if we are going to remain friends with that person on the social media or online. That is up to us. We have to set the boundaries. We have to decide how that is going to work. So that's the first thing you just have to keep in mind. I'm in control no matter what. So what are you looking at on social media especially? What are you watching? Are you watching particular videos? Are you scrolling through Facebook? Do you find yourself scrolling through Instagram more? Are you always looking at your phone or looking at your computer or your tablet and checking out what's happening in the world? You have got to figure out what you're seeing, and do you trust what you're seeing? People will post all kinds of things on the internet. Not everything on the internet is true, and not everything on the internet is something we want to follow. If you want to know more about how to handle rumors and things, especially on the internet, check out my video up here or right here and in the description below. I'll go more in depth about that. But just remember that everything you see on the internet may or may not be true. You have to look at the source, and you have to look at who posted the information as well. Another thing, you have to figure out how long you're going to spend on the internet. It is so easy in these days when we don't have as much going on and not having the social interaction that we're used to, is to simply slip into that time of just watching on the internet, watching your phone constantly. It is much better if you limit yourself. And I fall into this rabbit hole as well. I will get on YouTube saying, I'm going to look up something for a video, and I will get sidetracked by an article about the coronavirus, or I will look and see, hey, there's this movie that's going to be out on Netflix soon. Let me watch all the trailers that have to do with it. And I'm like 30 minutes later, I'm like, oh, wait, I never did look up what I was going to do for a video, doing some research. You have got to control how long you're on there. And sometimes it means taking your phone and putting it in the other room. It means having a conversation with somebody, or it might mean, instead of looking at your phone, calling somebody and actually talking to a real live person, somebody that means a lot to you, that you want to catch up with. You determine how long you're on social media. You also can determine whether or not you're going to respond. Now, when it comes to emails and texts, and of course voicemails, I guess as well, but especially for emails and texts, it's a little bit different because usually that means it's somebody who wants a personal response from you, unless it's a group email. And so you have to figure out, well, am I going to respond to this, or how's that going to work? And I just realized my camera is kind of lopsided. All right, this video is just going to be a little bit off, but can't do anything about that. I just didn't realize that until just now. That's weird. Anyway, if you are responding to a text or an email, then you can say, okay, I'm going to respond. Sometimes you might get something and you think, I really don't think I can respond. Or if you get upset, you may say, I can't respond right now. I have, and I admit it, there have been times where I get a text, it really makes me mad. I start texting back, but I don't send. I just hold off. And then I reread, or maybe I might even go to my husband and say, well, does this sound like I'm really mad? Or what do you think? And then I'll get another perspective. But sometimes you can do that yourself. You can say, okay, I'm just mouthing off right now. I'm going to stop. Erase what you put, don't send it, put your phone down, think about it, maybe even write out or type out what you really want to say. You get to choose how you respond. Now, if it's social media, Instagram or Facebook in particular, especially Facebook, remember, whatever you put out there, it's out there. Now, you can go back and edit your comments. You can go back and delete your own comments. That is true. But you don't know, if you put something out there, somebody, if everybody's online right now, they're going to read your comment, even if you go back and erase it. You can't take that back. And once you put it up there and you leave it up there, it is out there. You have to say, do I really want to respond to this? Do I really want to get into this argument? Do I really want to make this other person mad? They made me mad. Do I want to make them mad? You have a choice. And I can tell you right now, everybody is pretty much on edge. Everybody is exceptionally emotional right now. And everybody's kind of polarized. You got to wear masks. You don't have to wear masks. You stay in, you don't need to stay in. Just all these, we're on either side of the fence. And so we can really ratchet up our feelings and our emotions, say things and do things that we don't really mean, but they're done in the heat of the moment. So you have the choice. Am I going to respond or not? A lot of times it's best not to respond. Now, if something really gets me upset, a lot of times I will block the person for 30 days, like on Facebook, or even unfollow somebody like on Instagram, or maybe if they a post or something, a lot of times you can ask the service, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, to hide that particular post, or you don't want to see things like that. All of those things. If you're unsure about what you can do on that particular social media platform, please go to Google and find out, or you can a lot of times go to their own website and their own information that you maybe weren't aware what your rights are, what you can and cannot do. Now, right here, I have to say that I am not addressing bullying or cyber stalking. And scamming. Those are totally different things than being nosy. A lot of times what we find on the internet, especially on social media like Instagram and Facebook, is people asking us questions about things that we're doing. And that's what I'm talking about. Do we comment or not? Do we keep our mouths shut or not? Do we stop typing or not? And I know, especially on Facebook, not as much Instagram, but this is what I have noticed on Facebook, is sometimes we don't get everything. Like there's a news feed and we'll get some comments or some questions, but unless somebody messages me, I don't always get it. And sometimes even messaging I don't get. I was on Facebook, I was doing the Facebook Messenger on my phone, but not on the computer very often. But I was, I had a couple of messages here and there occasionally. I had a situation where for some reason I took off Facebook on my phone. I think I was trying to save money. The dog was doing something. Anyway, I was trying to save memory on my phone, so I took the Facebook Messenger off. But I was on my computer and I decided to check Messenger. I had messages that were like 1.5 years, 2 years old that I never got on my phone for some reason. They never came up, on the thing on the Facebook Messenger, on my Facebook pages, it never came up. It never came up on my phone. So just realize, don't use it as an excuse, but realize not everything you say will be seen by everybody, and not everything they say will be seen by you. So, in a case somebody says, hey, did you get my message? Say, wait, I'm not really sure. Maybe it didn't come up with my news feed. Or you can just say, I hadn't gotten back to you. Gosh, how many people simply read everything on the internet? They go through Instagram, but they never once like or comment or do anything. There's a lot of people out there. You might be one of them, and you can just say, hey, I just looked, but I didn't respond. Hadn't had a chance to, or there's so much out there, I've just felt overwhelmed, or wasn't in the mood. I don't know. If you have somebody who's asking you nosy questions, because of the way the internet works, because of the way a lot of these social media platforms work, you don't always have to respond. You are in control. Speaking of in control, you are in control of liking this channel. If you like this video, you want to hear more about dealing with nosy people, please give me a thumbs up. One of the things that you have to remember is if you are going to respond to somebody, whether they're asking a nosy question or making a nosy comment, is that you get to figure out what you're going to say. Please remember, whatever you say, when you type it in, it's not going to be like you were there in person. When you're talking to somebody, you give verbal cues, you give nonverbal cues, your voice, your facial expressions, your hands moving around, a smile, a twinkle in your eye can tell people that you're not really being serious. But when you say the same things, or I should say when you type the same things that you might say, it may not come out exactly the way you wanted it to. And sure, there's emojis and there's GIFs, GIFs, GIFs. What do you call those? GIFs? Anyway, it may not say the same thing as if you were in person. Even if it's a great meme or a great quote, it is not going to have the same impact. You may send the wrong message. So just keep that in mind. You can control what you say. It's up to you to how you're going to say. If it's going to be a long response, you may say, hey, give me a call about this, or message them privately, or give them an instant message or a direct message that says, hey, let's talk, let's chat on this side of the social media platform, so that it's not out there where everybody is kind of participating in it. You're in control. You can decide what you're going to say. Last but not least, when dealing with nosy people online and on social media and on the internet, there are certain people whose opinions count. I've talked about this before. I have a video here and up on the card and in the descriptions below where you can find out more about having somebody in the arena. And that's what Brene Brown talks about. If the person has not had that kind of struggle that you've been through, then there may not be somebody whose opinion matters to you. In fact, a lot of times, if it's somebody whose opinion matters to me, I will probably pick up the phone or even at least text them and say, hey, what's going on? You decide whose opinion matters. And you know those people. Those people, if they ask some kind of question of you, you don't consider it nosy as much as you consider that they care and you want to respond. You are in control. Nosy people may ask you questions on social media and online, but you can decide if or how you're going to respond. If you know whose opinion matters to you, please in the comments put, I know whose opinion matters. And I am glad you're here. Like I said before, if you haven't subscribed, please do that. If you have subscribed, please share this video. And I especially want to know if this was a video that you liked. Stay well, stay safe, have a great one.